Alright, you know it, I know it, we have the Forbidden Unlimited Disc update. It is coming on April the 10th, which is then the day that we will get the new selection pack, the April pack. That is, obviously, we will also be streaming on Friday when there is the new selection pack and the new secret pack / packs, memento pack also coming, it seems. By the way, I have a new Discord for all of you community members. You can join it via the link in the description below. If you like my videos, please consider subscribing, hitting a thumbs up and the notification bell. This would help out a lot. So we have the new Banlist, and obviously this is either a big one or it is not that impactful. I'm honestly expecting some hard hits for Snake Eyes, as it is really time to kill the deck that has been in the meta for around a year now, and right now we have it at a very strong point of power. Where it's basically the best deck, and if we want to implement a new meta, we will at some point need to hit the Snaker engine or kill the Snaker engine, since it already has been hit. So cards to be unlimited, we have Purrely coming from 2 to 3. This is quite nice. Once again, one of these clean up hits where they release cards from the banlist that don't need to be there anymore. I guess if we would give Purrely all of their cards back, plus the delicious memory going back to unlimited, that still would not really change anything. It's not that bad because we can still create this Towers monster that can auto-win us some games. But other than that, I think that the time for Purrely is over. It definitely has been power crept. It was a cool deck, and maybe with an additional support wave in the far future, because it is a very new deck, this can once again shine. We will have to see, but Purrely going back from 2 to 3, I like it. I like these cleanup ones. Then we have cards to be limited, Sangan Kaiman. This was to be expected at some point, obviously. Wasn't expecting this at this list, honestly, because Tenpai wasn't that represented, also not that represented in the Duelist Cup. We will also take a look at the Duelist Cup in another video, going over the decks and thinking about the Duelist Cup and how it went. But we have Sangan Kaiman going from 2 to 1. This is obviously nice for anyone still having Sangan Kaimans. Multiple, I also have 2, so I can get 30 crafting points back for one of the Sangan Kaiman, which is nice. We can then invest this into the Dominus traps. If you have not seen this, Friday we will get a Dominus Impulse as well as Dominus Purge. Very impactful. You want to have 3 of both of them. So there is where my Sangan Kaiman Ultra crafting points will go. I think this is quite nice. It was clear that at some point we will probably have this at 1. Now we have the same restrictions as the TCG has. The deck is still playable, especially with some additional engines like Fiendsmith, but definitely not at the power point where it's super annoying. Maybe in the future with additional engines that go well together with this, maybe another going second engine, this will once again be powerful. But for now, you can still play the deck. It is still good. There is still the threat of this going second deck being in the meta, but I think now we have it at a point where it is totally okay from a strength perspective. Sometimes you will see the cards that you need to see, the Sangan Kaiman, the Field Spell, the Chandra, but if you lose them, then they are gone. You can play the Dragon Ruler stuff to find your Hydra or your Chandra, of course, but I think now it's kind of fair. Tenpai is fair right now. You can let me know in the comments what you think about this. Do you think this deck should totally being X'd, which would be, I guess, forbidding Chandra or something, because then we don't have a tuner anymore, or at least not one that we can use very uncomplicated. Obviously, the Genroku can also be a tuner, but it's way less flexible than Chandra is. But let me know in the comments what you think of Tenpai Dragon's position in the current format, maybe the future format. Then we have, I just saw it, Block Dragon from 0 to 1. A lot of people were very hyped for this card. A lot of people think this card, oh my god, Emancipator is back right now. I don't really think so, since the rest of the deck is just not strong enough anymore to really be here and to be super relevant. We have just way better decks. Then again, obviously Block Dragon is an insane card, must be special summoned from your hand or graveyard by banishing 3 earth monsters from your hand or graveyard, not once per turn. And then rock monsters you control cannot be destroyed except by battle, which is also quite nice. This also has a lot of stats here, 3000 defense. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add up to 3 rock monsters from your deck to your hand, whose total levels equal 8. This was perfect for the Emancipator monsters, since they did not add up to 8, I think, or I think the 2 level 4s did, or there was 1 level 4 and 2 level 2s, something like this. and then you can only use this effect of block Dragon once per turn. So a very strong card, obviously, for Earth, for rock decks. Not only for the Emancipator, I also think that the train deck can use it. Then again, the trains are very big when it comes to the level, so Emancipator is definitely the deck where you want to play this. I think this would need to go back to 3. We can still search it at 1, this is clear, but it's definitely awesome to be able to search this or to hard open this sometimes in the hand. So I think this going back to 3 might bring back an Emancipator, not like as a tier 1 deck or something, but as a playable deck. Then again, you can also still play it right now. So Block Dragon back to 1, interesting. And yeah, I can't complain, it's also a super rare, so if you want to try it out, if you want to play it, you can easily do that. I am a fan. Okay, then we have Katsubi Forbidden, and I'm, okay, Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal. Okay, this was to be expected. Yeah, this was the card that was to be expected being forbidden. We can see it's forbidden in the TCG, it's forbidden in the OCG, and for a good reason. We have seen this was basically, if we click right here, this was basically in a lot of the top meta decks. We have this in Snake Eyes Fiendsmith, giving you the ability to get to your Snake Eyes Ash or your original Sympho spoils. With the Millennium variant, White Forest Azamina could use it in order to dump the little black White Forest girl. I'm blanking on the name, but you could start your White Forest combo with the Beatrice. We also have this in Tearlaments, obviously, to dump some Tearlaments fusion names. Then in Tenpai Dragon, this was very fun. I also played this, and I think this is what made the deck way better. This is also a Tenpai Dragon nerf, if you want to call it that, because with the Fiendsmith engine, you could go into the Beatrice, dump one of your Tenpai Dragons, Chandra or Pydra, and then revive it with the Promethean Princess, since they are fire. So this was consistency for Tenpai, so we have 2 Tenpai hits basically, but this obviously is more of a Snake Eyes Fiendsmith hit, or at least it's more pointed to that. We have Chimera, they were also playing this, they had a lot of targets, they could bring it to the graveyard and then revive. For them it's not that bad, I think, because they also have a lot of other cards, namely the Chimera Fusion monster, I think it's got the Baphomet, I'm not quite sure, that are also able to dump something to the graveyard. And then we have Jubel Fiendsmith, which I think this might not be super accurate. Maybe they were also playing Beatrice, but they don't need Beatrice since they now have the Aerial Eater. Also very important for Memento, if Memento should come on Friday, because Memento can also use the Aerial Eater and don't need to use Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal, to dump something to the graveyard and then revive it. So I think this is a very great hit. This is a very strong Snake Eye hit, even though it doesn't seem like a Snake Eye hit, but this basically means that with the Millennium engine, you now no longer can access your Snake Eye engine. With your Fiendsmith engine, you will not be able to access your Snake Eyes engine, so you now have to open your Snake Eyes engine. This will probably lead to Snake Eyes Fiendsmith being played with Azamina once again, because the Azamina engine can still go into the Snake Eyes engine, where the Millennium engine can't anymore. So this kills the Millennium Snake Eyes Fiendsmith deck, but once again brings back the Snake Eyes Azamina version. So we definitely need to see more hits in the future, because the Forbidden and Limited is basically skips at this point. This is the end of the list, which I'm honestly a bit disappointed. I mean, it's nice that we have Beatrice Forbidden, and this was definitely necessary and one of the better hits, that's for sure, because this also hits some other decks' consistency. This is definitely a hit that mainly was targeted at the most strongest decks, so I like this. But once again, I also would have loved some Snake Eyes killing hits, maybe an OSS Forbidden, maybe a Snake Eyes from Birch Dragon Forbidden. We could have gone with the Diabellstar to 1, we could have gone with the Bonfire to, I think it's at 2 to 1 then. So a few more hits I would definitely have liked, honestly, or some of the generic endboss monsters like Appaloosa being forbidden, Baron being forbidden. I think this is very nice and has had a good effect on the TCG. But yeah, I mean, this is a step in the right direction, but this is not enough. So we will have at least another month of Snake Eyes dominance, because this definitely doesn't kill the deck. You can still play the Azamina version, which bridges into the Snake Eyes version, and the Azamina version is super strong, but obviously you will have a bit less consistency, a bit less ability if you open with your Fiendsmith package. Then you won't be able to go into the Snake Eyes stuff, which is nice, definitely is. But yeah, this is definitely not enough to change our meta, depending on what we get in the April pack. And if you're wondering what we could get in the April pack, check out the latest video. It is in the description on the right, or it's in the description, is in the right corner. I have linked it for you, where I will go over what I expect to be in the April pack based on the new informations that we have for Friday's pack. But now let me know in the comments, what do you think of these changes? Are you happy or are you unsatisfied? What would you have liked to see on this list here? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for being here, and obviously we will see each other in the next one.